What is a medicinal spice? By definition, it's a dried seed, fruit, root, bark, or some vegetative substance used in nutritionally insignificant qualities as a food additive for flavor, color, as a preservative. It can kill harmful bacteria and certainly impart great flavor to foods. Now, spices are not herbs. Hold the thought for a minute. We're going to talk about different groups of spices. Dried fruits or seeds. We'll talk about fennel, mustard, black pepper. We'll talk about barks like cinnamon, dried flower buds like cloves, stigmans like saffron, and then we'll dig up some roots and rhizomes and talk about turmeric and ginger. So there's many different types of spices. Now, a real broad definition of an herb is any plant with leaves, seeds, or flowers used in flavoring of food, medicine, or perfume. So in general, herbs are not, they don't have a woody stem. They often die off during the winter and then are reborn each spring. Now, in general, when we talk about herbs aren't spices, but there's going to be one big exception. I'm going to talk about the spice, coriander, and the herb that it grows on is cilantro. You're all familiar with cilantro. If you let it go to seed, those little seed pods that form is the spice, coriander. So I'll talk about coriander, but then as I talk about it, I'll bring up cilantro as well because they basically do the same thing. And spices come in many, many bright colors, reds and oranges and yellows, okay? In general, when we talk about spices, we talk about them as being dried, but there are some exceptions that we'll talk about fresh spices, and we'll talk about onion as an example. Medicinal spices have been used throughout the years for many, many different things. Way back when, religion, medicine, perfumery, cosmetics. So we'll talk about a lot of their uses throughout the day. Now, our biggest organ for body defenses is your skin. You also saw white cells, how they worked in that video, and then we've got our immune system. Now, I still continue to teach online at a couple of colleges and universities, and my specialties are pharmacology, pathophysiology, and complementary medicine. So I like to throw some cartoons in my class. So my cartoon for the immune system is your rain gear. If you go out in the rain and you're well protected, you're not going to get wet. But therefore, you're not going to get sick. But if you're not too smart and you go out, you got holes in your umbrella, you forget your rain gear, you're going to get wet. So how about if your immune system is no longer working? How about colds or flus, or maybe the ultimate, how about cancer? Now remember, the immune system can be a two-edged sword. It should react appropriately and protect us, but sometimes it gets confused and becomes overactivated. Think about autoimmune diseases. Well, where does 80% of the immune system hang out? In your gut, right. The villi, those finger-like projections, they line the small intestine. That's where we're going to digest and absorb nutrients. I'm going to refer to them a little later. How about if I refer to them as the plush carpet in your gut? Are you okay with that analogy? Okay. And you also saw that yellow layer, the neuron layer, and you saw the white epithelial layer, and the immune system hangs out somewhere in that vicinity.